Shutterstock Music.
What's up, my music people? This is Matt with Let's Talk Music. I'm here with Jordan and Taylor of the Moon City Masters. They're joining us from Brooklyn, New York.
How you doing, Matt? Thanks for having us.
I am doing great, and I'm glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
Like you and I was just talking a minute ago, Taylor. I mean, the style of music that you guys play. When I was listening to Taking It Back, I kind of felt like I should be looking at a blacklight poster smoking a doobie.
Yeah, yeah, that's what you should be doing.
Well, you should be doing that, right?
You know, it had the like the late 70s feel, the early 80s, I'm gonna say, with like maybe some Boston bands like that. And I was just like, wow, really like this style of music. And that's not very usual from Brooklyn.
No, it's really not. We're definitely odd ducks around here, but
A lot of indie bands and like
a lot of soul, a lot of great music, just
a
not
lot of
right.
great music. We're just like not of the same variety. Yeah.
Right.
But it's still cool to be here because I think in a lot of ways it kind of first of all, the late 70s, early 80s, that's probably a lot of our favorite era. That mid 70s, late 70s, and early 80s, probably our favorite era of rock music, to be honest, in general. So that's an awesome comparison. But I think what's so cool about being from here, and there is so many different types of music, and yeah, rock is not the main music that people play here, is that I think we grew up around that other stuff, like especially like soul music and like some jazz music, and like a lot of the people that taught us how to play played a lot of that stuff. So it kind of seeps into our rock music and just gives it something a little bit different than what the other rock bands are doing, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's one reason why I'm grateful to be from New York, you know.
Yeah, that's like the cool thing about it, you know. I'm sure like if we lived in Nashville, we'd still be a rock band, but we'd probably have a little bit more country influence.
Right.
If we were there, if we lived there, you know. So I think that's the cool thing about like not being from a place where other types of music are a little bit more the mainstream than what we play. But you know, it is nice. Like I was telling you, we've played in Ohio, we've played in other places where it's not the New Yorks and LAs of the world, and Midwest is definitely a lot more receptive to what we do than
I don't remember where we were, but someone yelled out a cover. They yelled out they wanted us to play a Humble Pie cover. I'm like, oh my god, I've never gotten that in New York City.
We're home.
I was like, no one even knows who the hell that is.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's cool, but people come around to it here. You know, they're starting to come around to it, and I think what's so cool about today is, man, I think music's music to people. You know, I think people are just, you know, just so much like, as long as it's a good song, it's a good song. Like my partner Maris, her parents, they listen back. They're like kids of the 70s and 60s, and they listen like disco is terrible. I'm like, you know what? Y'all are spoiled compared to what
I agree.
Like, top 40s back then is a hell of a lot better than top 40s now.
We used to play in a wedding band, and I can tell you this: it's not that. You know, I don't even have to say it's like an old person's perspective because I felt this way most of my life. I'm telling you, like I vibe out with pop music from like the 60s. That's like freaking Motown in the 70s. I love disco. I love a lot of stuff from the 80s. But like, I'm just gonna be honest. It's like you're going through a pop music time machine when you play in a wedding. And I'm not gonna lie, you know, there's exceptions, but I'm not gonna name who I don't like. But there's a lot of, but pop music today really is, it's boring. It's boring.
It's like, I understand, like, you know, that note that saying, keep it simple, stupid. It's like, they added a little more stupid and a little less simple. It's
one thing to keep it simple, but you're making your listeners stupid. You're making them so they don't know. It's like we shouldn't read Shakespeare because the 5-year-old book is easier to read.
Right.
It's like,
I read Shakespeare.
It's it's like people like I said to our producer Justin the other day, I'm like, Simon and Garfunkel would be considered progressive rock to the modern top 40 listener.
It's true though.
It is, and that's sad.
Yeah, because it's like it's just
It is.
So,
like-
how old are you guys?
31.
31, both of you?
Yeah, we're twins.
Oh, that was awesome.
Well, he's
That was
6 minutes-
awesome. You guys said it at the same time. We're twins.
I like
He's
it's
6
awesome
minutes
that
older.
it
That's
makes
what we're talking
cringe.
about that.
Okay, so I mean, you know, that makes it even that much more better is because I'm 46.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, I was born in 76, and I really, you know, I think I got my first taste of rock at about 82, 83 with More Than a Feeling from Boston.
Oh, that's dude, that first Boston album. Oh my god.
And then yeah, it just it hooked me, and like, you know, I do probably mid 60s to now. I don't know a whole some 50s, but rock has always been like my main thing.
Yeah.
I like some country. I like, you know, I like some R&B. I like good music.
Yeah.
So if it's good, you know, I like it. If it sucks, I'm going to tell you. And, you know, I mean, I listened to, you know, again, Taking It Back, and what was it? No Warning.
Mm.
Yeah. And I mean, I dig you guys. You guys got a hell of a sound. And like, you know, now that you tell me that you guys are, you know, 31 years old, it just makes it so much better, because you're just like, you're taking the stuff from back in the day and making it just, it's kind of like Greta Van Fleet, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they've been compared to Led Zeppelin and whatever and blah blah blah, but I mean,
I got a lot of love for those guys.
yeah, and when you got Robert Plant saying that you're good, I mean, come on, what better do you need?
When I'm on Facebook, as minimal as I can, and they come up, I see so much hate for those guys, and you know what? I personally have a lot of. I'm pretty thankful to them, actually, to be honest with you, because I really feel like they kind of completely. I feel like my whole life, you know, when you talk to anybody who's supposed to be an expert opinion, they tell you rock is dead. They tell you this. They tell you that there's no, and you know what? You can't say that with them. They actually are the first band that, at least that I feel like in a major way, got a push behind them, and in their fan base. Yes, there's a lot of older people that really love their fan base, but like young.
We get a lot of young people that catch on to our music, like our age and younger. They're Greta Van Fleet fans, easy enough to say. And you know what's so great about that? Just to simplify what you're saying, Jordan. It's like, I'm happy about them being successful, because if there's a band that's doing it, that means there's a chance for us.
Right.
Yeah, and I think every rock band should
to open the doors. You know, like when Van Halen came out, rock was kind of on the outs. It was kind of, it was commercially, it was kind of considered passe. And Van Halen with one album, another band there, I think Van Halen won Boston's first album, in Led Zeppelin. And I have other bands I'm just as much or more influenced by, but I think those are arguably the best debut rock albums ever.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and but it's like you need a band to be a trailblazer and just open the doors for other bands, you know?
Yeah,
And I feel like you know, Greta Van Fleet is one of those. I mean, I got a buddy that I grew up with that was huge into Led Zeppelin, and he can't stand them, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, I don't get it.
And it's, you know, so many people say, well, they're trying to be Led Zeppelin. I'm like, no, they're not. I mean, yes, they have a similar sound, a similar style. You know, the singer has the same type of range as Robert Plant, but
kind of things like if you mixed Robert Plant with like the guy from Slade, to me.
Body Holder.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I think you've said that before.
I think the first album, it straight up did sound like Led Zeppelin, but you know what? Like, I think most people when they first start off are kind of just imitating who they like, and then you hear by the second album, I think it's their second album, the one with like My Way Soon. And
that's their third album. That's the third, and I actually think
that third album, you hear like that, it's like they're clearly onto their own thing. And
yeah.
I just think it's like, man, we like look all all these legacy acts that we all know and love. Not going to be around forever, and it's like we got to give some new people a chance. You know what?
Mhm.
To me, even if you don't like it, like they're not one of my. I don't dislike them all. I like a couple of their songs a lot, and they're good. It's like if they're inspiring a zillion people to pick up a guitar and start their own band,
That's
it's
good
a
for all
thing.
of us.
Yeah.
Not just them, it's good for all of us.
It's good for all of us. You know, that's what's so cool about music. It's not like I opened up an ice cream shop and I'm competing with the ice cream shop across the street. You know,
Right.
one person's success has nothing to do with your success or lack thereof.
I also think to just like there's a lot of people that I do agree they did sound like freaking Led Zeppelin when they came out, but like
Remember Kingdom Come? They sound a lot like Led Zeppelin.
but it doesn't sound
Yeah.
bad. It sounds good. Like who cares if every band that you hear like it sounds good. Like the songs are freaking catchy.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
that's the whole thing. It's like, look, I think, like, you know, I like my music a lot. I think we're getting our own sound.
I
But
like your
what
music
happened-
too.
but you know what? It's like, what happened? Why does everyone have to? Why is it like why is it such a shame to not be reinventing the wheel? You could be just really. It's a good thing to just make a good wheel.
Hey man, you ain't stripping on me because I seen a shirt come off. You ain't going. Next time we flash back to you, you ain't
Oh
going.
yeah,
You know,
Taylor, come
I've been
on.
I've been in
Come
the gym a
on.
lot this week, and I want to show off my gains. No, but it's like, you know, like not everyone needs to reinvent the wheel. Just make a good wheel.
You know,
Right,
I was
About
watching
making songs and entertain. It's about writing good songs, and if
There
you
was-
feel what you're playing, that's good enough.
Taylor, you know what? Like, actually, to your point, I was watching a few weeks ago. I went and saw. I don't remember what it's called. They released like a new David Bowie documentary. So I'm sure it's the 500th David Bowie documentary that at least it's been released with major funding. And and you know what? Like they were talking about it like one point of his career. Like critics were like saying like, oh, it's not original. It doesn't sound as it's like, but like, is it bad? Like I value originality. I'm not going to say that I don't, but like if your only critique is that it's not original, that it sounds like something that's I think it's kind of lame. You're kind of a stick in the mud. You're kind of a stick in the
Throw this in there. You guys have originality. I mean,
mud. I appreciate that. Thank you.
like I said, it's got a a 70s, 80s feel, but it doesn't mean that you're recreating somebody else. You got your own niche, and like I said, it's got some soul, some funk, some blues, some rock and roll. I mean,
Soul and funk is just as much a big part of my musical DNA as rock and roll.
right, and I mean it's very catchy. So I mean, I'm not. I just mentioned Greta Van Fleet because they are young guys too that kind of went back to that era, and it's like I think as human beings we always have to go back to our roots, and
yeah, I think so.
And you can't really think of many better eras of music than the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
I'm biased, but I think so. I think I agree.
I mean, you had so many amazing bands back then. I mean, you mentioned Humble Pie. You had, again, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, Black Sabbath. I mean, just so many pioneers. And, who's to say that, you guys won't be pioneers of a new wave? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
Appreciate
thank
that,
you.
man.
And I hope we can do that, and the truth is, I think most artists, they're just we're just trying, like we wear our influences on our sleeve. We just love that era of music, and obviously we put it together in our own way, and we just want to, our whole goal is just to write the music we want to hear, and just like be the band that we're like that should exist, that for some reason doesn't exist yet.
Let me ask you.
Honestly, that was like my whole, to the extent that like I like actively am thinking about like songwriting in like such a like a mechanical way. That was the only like guidelines that I remember like we talked about when we were like deciding, okay, we're gonna go out, we're gonna be this band together, we're going to do this. We actually like I feel like we used to always try to like write these songs with these bands that were like it had to be so original, it had to be the most, nothing can sound like it. So of course
Right.
it sounded annoying, and at least by my opinion. And you know, and we decided with this band, it's just like, you know,
Good songs first.
let's just be the best band of, by our standards, of like that late 70s era that we never found, that we never heard of for some reason. Like, where the holy shit, where did this come from?
Well,
And that was really our only guidelines,
you
really,
got
you
to
know?
think about it too. Is I don't care who you are as a musician, you draw influence from somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, or you're taught by somebody. I mean, look at Kirk Hammett from Metallica. I mean, he took lessons from Joe Satriani and, you know, stuff like, you know, that. I mean, it's you your influence comes from somewhere. And
I think even as a person, beyond musician, you only are where you are because of somebody.
right,
And
your parents,
and I think and I think with music, it's the case. Like, you know, you're no matter how good you are, how creative you are, you're only where you are because somebody laid a foundation for you.
It's completely
correct.
true. Like, you know, our dad was a kid of the 60s and 70s. He went to Woodstock and he did that. And he got us into like Jimi Hendrix and the Allman Brothers and Zeppelin and the Beatles and some other stuff. But you know, we took that from there and then we started getting into Rush and all these other bands that he freaking hated. And it was like, why do you like this? It's like, it was you gave us the launch pad. You know,
Right.
you know, but it's like, think of Joe Satriani is a great example. He taught Kirk Hammett, he taught the guitar player of Primus. It's like all these different dudes that went on to Steve Vai, and they all just took his launch pad of infra and they all took it and made their own crazy awesome
Yep.
thing with it.
Yep.
So as a guitarist, man, I bet you would have loved to seen the big three there. The what was that? Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, and
Well, Eric Johnson is
Eric
like,
I
Johnson.
think we had that album growing up.
I had that album growing up, and I love, out of those three, Eric Johnson is my
Cliffs
favorite.
of Dover.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Oh my god! He's a, what was that? I was that. I don't have a picture.
Oh, nice.
Where is it? Where's my pick?
He's gonna bust out some Eric Johnson here.
Do you know this tune?
Yeah, I do know how to play a little bit of that. I'm not doing the pick right now. Where's my guitar pick? Whatever.
I have one of your guitar picks right here.
Motherfucker.
That was awesome, dude. I just gave me goosebumps because I love that song.
Oh man, I love
Eric.
Eric Johnson because
Being a teenager, every
And,
kid was doing that or trying.
he's my favorite because he's got that blues foundation, but then he's got this like that jazz fusion, and he could just like, he's just like that perfect combination of just monster chops, but keeping that. I love Vai and Satriani too. Vai's great. I especially love him with that album we did, that first album we did with Daily Roth. I like, my favorite thing is a great guitar player playing great music, playing a great band. The instrumental like guitar stuff, I like it for like 15 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I need great guitar with a great song.
How about Alex Skolnick? How do you feel about him?
Oh, he's a monster. I'm not like a giant Testament. I've seen him live with Testament, but God, he's a great guitar player. Testament. Then he went on after that, and then
Alex Skolnick Trio.
Yeah, then this. Yeah, he's Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He's a great guitar player.
How about you, Jordan? I mean, you're the bass player. Who's your people? Who do you like?
Shit. Jocko. Like, it depends on like what I'm going for. Like, honestly, like my number one answer is just the guys that played like the perfect part on every song that I love. I don't really like. I obviously there's the shredder virtuoso guys that I really love, but like at the end of the day, McCartney, you know, being a singer, bass player, and songwriter. I love Verdine White of Earth, Wind and Fire. I think those parts are great. I love James Jamerson. I love Geddy Lee with a passion. I love Geddy Lee, giant Rush fan. Chris Squire. It's hard to think about Larry
Marcus
Graham.
Miller was a big guy for you.
Who?
Growing up, Marcus Miller, you were really into.
Yeah, Marcus Miller, and obviously I loved Billy Sheehan when I was a kid too.
Oh yes, Mr.
Every
Big.
kid wanted to shred, like I really tried to learn as much of him and Jocko and like Victor Wooten, and then, but I also really loved Jack Bruce and Geezer Butler. I loved all the guys, like
Here's a fact about Geezer Butler. Did you know that he was actually originally a rhythm guitarist?
Yeah,
He switched
And
to bass.
and he played
So
the
was
bass.
I.
He played the bass like he did rhythm guitar.
Geezer Butler was probably one of him and Jack Bruce were the first bass players that I ever really, well, after Flea, because we got into playing music because we saw the Chili Peppers live.
I seen that in your press release.
Yeah, and well, we wanted to. We were kind of flirting with the idea, but we were awkward kids, and then seeing that they did it, we're like, you know what, screw it, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And then when I realized that, bass is what I want to play, because I didn't know anything. I didn't, I switched to bass pretty quick from being the rhythm guitar player in our band where no one could play.
So now you're a geezer.
So I loved Geezer, really loved Geezer, and I still do. I love Sabbath. I love Sabbath a lot. I've been a diehard fan since like 5th grade.
So how did you guys come up with the name, the Moon City Masters? I mean, that's
Doobies.
Smoking Doobies.
Cooking doobies with our brother Adam. He goes, "You guys are these goofy twins with long hair that shred." Because we were just gonna go out and just say we're Jordan and Taylor. He's like, "That's a terrible band name." And we're like, he's like, "You guys are these twins that shred. You're the Moon City Masters." We're like, "Moon City Masters." He's like, "Yeah, think about it. If you play a show and someone sees you guys on stage and hears up next the Moon City Masters, they're gonna go, that's a hilarious thing. Let's see these twins out." And then we start playing. It's like, oh shit, they're pretty good.
And and then the selling point was that with extensive Google searches, I figured that
No band called the Moon City Masters.
We can legally own the name.
Right,
so
right.
That was the biggest thing.
Yeah,
I kind of like it because when I think of all like the best bands out there, their names aren't that serious. The Beatles, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
The Who is a great freaking band name. Led Zeppelin's a great band name, but their names aren't that serious,
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't usually mean a whole lot.
Yeah, let the music do the talking. We've had so many awful band names like Sky Talk and Black Tie Affair. I would always like when people ask us our band name, I would just mumble it and just hope that they don't hear it. And now this one I just be like, yeah, we're the Moon City Masters. Sup. It's like
you mentioned in our prior conversation to recording that you guys are going to be playing the Viper Room.
Yeah. Viper Room on November 4th with our buddies Joyous Wolf, and we got a cool ass show in New York on Monday. You ever heard of a guitar player named Jared James Nichols?
That doesn't sound familiar.
You should check him out, dude.
Imagine like if Zakk Wylde and Thor had a baby that played like Leslie West and Paul Kossoff from Free combined.
Okay.
He's just a beast of a guitar player.
Zakk Wylde and Thor. So you mean Thor and Thor?
Yeah. Zakk Wylde's kind of got that Viking look,
Yeah, and it's like this almost Hulk Hogan like looking dude that just plays mean guitar.
Yeah, he put no pick, all fingers. Les Paul P90s.
He's got a big following. We're opening up for him on Monday, and then we're playing the Viper Room November 4th with Joyous Wolf. Then we're got our album release show in New York City on the 11th, and then we're off to Europe for 3.5 weeks at the end of November.
Okay.
We'll be in Netherlands on Thanksgiving.
Oh, you nailed that pronunciation.
So you guys, you have, because Taking It Back was in 2021, so you have done some recording in 2022.
Oh yeah, we have we have this whole we did a ton of recording in 2021 and 2022. We did.
Oh yeah, that's
here. Everything in this thing.
Okay.
We did a ton of singles, and we just put them out throughout 2021 and 2022. And we're gonna release. We're putting out this compilation album with one new song called "Trust Someone." It's like a ballad, and we're gonna put this one out and just promote this. And we have a bunch of new music we're working on too to record in 2023. We're just kind of trying to decide how we're going to do it. Are we going to do EPs, albums, singles? We're sitting on a lot of cool music, but we're just trying to figure out the way to release that next batch. So we're going to be we're going to be promoting this and until we figure that out.
I know a lot of guys that I talk to, they say that, nowadays, because, album sales really don't happen, that releasing singles and then doing an EP, they say that, a full album is kind of a waste of money and waste of time because nobody buys albums anymore. But I mean, vinyl is making a comeback, and like, my wife just bought me a record player not too long ago, and I got a few new vinyls. I got the Eagles, I got Led Zeppelin, I got Leonard Skinner, Def Leppard, High and Dry.
Nice.
I mean, I'm just like, this is my shit. This is when I was growing up, it was, I guess in the 90s you had the rack systems, you know what I'm saying, like your equalizer, your tape player, your CD player. Back when I was a kid, it was like this big. You had a tuner that had a record player on top of it and an 8-track player.
Yeah.
And so, those were the things that I grew up on, and I love the sound of vinyl. Now, the thing that's great about this record player she bought is you put a vinyl on it and you play it through the speakers on there. It sounds like a true vinyl. It's got the skips well, not really the skips, but the scratch sound. Now you play it through your Bluetooth speaker, it sounds more modern. So, and a lot of guys that I've talked to that, they say that, hey, I want to do an album. I want to do a vinyl because it's something tangible that I can hand somebody and say, I made this.
Yeah.
So the thing is, so we want to do a vinyl of this eventually. The problem is, and we love vinyl. I have a big vinyl collection, and we're both big vinyl people too. The problem with vinyl right now is the supply chain sucks, and it's gonna take like a year to get it.
Right.
That sucks.
It does.
It sucks. So we're probably, and I don't want to like do, until we have an order confirmed and we know an exact date that we can get them. I don't think it's fair to our fans to go pay for it now. In a year you'll get a vinyl.
Oh yeah. I get you there.
I would also personally just like feel like, oh my god, I have all these people's money now, and like, no, when am I getting this? I'd feel like stress from that for like a solid year. I don't need that.
We printed these. So we did a small amount. So half of them are going for, because in Europe, I guess a couple of these countries, our booking agents, they're told us that they still like the CDs. Like in Germany, they still like the CDs and stuff, which is amazing, And so we're gonna do that and sell them at shows, and if people want them. But yeah, vinyl is if you're not like it, so
in a perfect world, we would have released this on vinyl.
So with making a record, so we decided to put this as a compilation album because a lot of these songs, it feels like a record, and it feels like the music we're writing right now is going in a different direction than this stuff. Obviously still us, but like I feel like we're evolving to the next step. And I think we just kind of wanted to celebrate this deep, that like this is when a lot of this stuff was written and recorded when we were like deep in the lockdown of COVID.
Right.
Yeah, like life experiences were so few and far between that it's like you had to, it's like I had to claw for creative stimulation.
And it feels like it feels like we're heading to kind of like a new period, and we're getting to that next thing. And I think and we did do these all as singles because like what your friends are saying, it's very expensive, and the risk to reward on doing a full length album as an independent artist, especially a new independent artist like us, it's not very rewarding, So right now, and like when you're an artist, I think the number one struggle is really just like that you're putting on the business hat and putting on the artist hat.
Mhm.
When you're making the music, it's all about being an artist. But once the music's made, you're thinking about how am I going to sell this to people and get people to listen to this.
And I agree that as an independent artist, that is the hardest thing, is for you guys to get yourselves out there.
Yeah, and we really, with the single strategy, we did build a fan base, and it was really awesome, and we did get some great opportunities, and I think, we might still go back to doing singles or like EPs and like so, but it's really, but the way Jordan and I, we both listen to music is albums. We're not single, we're not playlist people. We're like listening to an album start to finish, and I really would like to.
And also, if preferably, I feel like this needs to be said, not as fucking background noise. Like, the activity is that you're listening to the album.
Yeah, like
like I said, man, smoking a doobie, looking at a black light.
Yeah, like close your eyes, like honestly, like Big Lebowski in the bath when he's trying to listen to Credence before they come in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know.
You guys are making it out there. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at the video for the Moon City Masters, Taking It Back official video, released 1 year ago. You got 203,000 views. That's
shit. I've been looking at the numbers in a little bit. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, I mean, so you're getting yourself out there, and that's all that's what
trying, man.
and doing like shows like this, that really helps, getting
and
on.
That's why I do it, man.
You gotta, and thank you, because it's like you gotta just, anyone who's willing to like just help us spread the word. You gotta do it. It's like you can't, like, obviously going viral and all that stuff is great, but you also got to do the groundwork. You got to do the press. You got to do it's like every every audience you can capture is the way to do it. And but we love it. It's all, we love doing this. Just sitting and talking about music for 40 minutes. It's the shit.
Long held truth in music is the hang is great, man. When in the life of the hang is great, man. The people you meet through doing this, it's part of it, man. It's
awesome. It's lovely. I mean, you're my, I think, 89th or 90th interview.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
So I mean, it's been really great. I've met a lot of great people. I've heard a lot of great music. Like I said, you guys struck a chord in me because, I do really dig the 70s, 80s music. Most of it is kind of modern day stuff, or, maybe mid 90s or whatever. But, when Tom sent me this, I was like, oh shit, I like these guys. I said, because he asked me to do an album review, which I'm going to do. And, it's going to be horrible, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm going to do an album review, but I wanted to do an interview too, because now I can go off of the interview with the album review and mix it all together.
Dude, thank you. Seriously, we really appreciate it. Yeah, we did. Tom's great because he's just got a lot of just network of people that just love this type of music, and Tom's been amazing. He's such a great dude. I don't know how long you've known. He reached out to us a year ago, and we were to do publicity for us, and we were doing it ourselves. And I'm like, but we always stayed in touch, and he's such a good dude.
He's a really good dude, and he's done really good work by us. He's awesome.
Yeah. All right, fellas. Well, I have to jump off here because I didn't upgrade to the Pro on.
Next time I'll send the link because I gave so many guitar lessons on.